and welcome back to Opally Hour. So today we are continuing with our Time Old Alley. Yesterday we got the second part of this put on, so we're done so far. Today we start working on this one, and the one which goes right at the back here is called a cabinet, and that's going to be the first thing we start to make. There are a lot of small pieces for this, so let's get straight on with it. Right, first things first, we are making a few little boxes. Love that the advertising here, Sprite and Pepsi. So we join these two together and then we wrap them in the paper to make little boxes, little crates really. So they shouldn't need too much glue, a little bit of wood glue on 3. They provide more than that, so I don't know if we're going to be using them for other things. One here. I didn't put one on that corner, so I'm just going to put them on the corners. It should be fine, being it's going to be wrapped up in paper anyway. How are you all doing today? Hope you are doing well. I'm going to try and put this lid, this pin in while I still have it, because we know how that goes. I can't, but let me get these together, and I'm going to have to take a moment to cut those out anyway, rather than doing it on camera for you. Taking up all your time watching me do some paper. I'm going to line these up a bit better too. I think most of this one came off actually, most of the glue. So maybe it's just, well, I couldn't get the pin in. It knew that I'd need it again. Just line them up as best you can. So have I put you off doing this model yet? It is rather detailed. You kind of think it would be a nice challenge. I think it's quite challenging. I think it's quite a challenging book nook. Probably the most detailed one I think I've done. Alright, let's get these wrapped. Okay, so those are done. I'm sure if I'd done it better, then you would have had the labels on there, but I'm not worried about advertising anyone. So we're going to keep the green one to hand. The other two can go in the odds and ends box. Right, next we are going to start making some sort of candies and things. And we're going to need to cut out some pieces, quite a few pieces. And as you can see, we're going to be making a lot of candies. So, sorry, hit the, don't even know how much of that you did see. Alright, so we are going to start with making some lollipops, which are using this wire. And we have to make 6 of these for 0.8 centimetres, and they stick in 6 of these ones. And those are going to sit in there. So let's see, 0.8 centimetres, and then they go in. So if I do one, then I'll show you what that's like. I mean, I'm sure it's quite obvious really, but so they go into the bead. I think this is a lot longer than 0.8 centimetres, and then just pop some glue on them. I'll move that more to the centre. Get all this out the way because we don't want them getting covered with glue either. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other 5 of those and get these papers cut out too. These are going to make like, gosh, I don't know if you've ever seen them, like the little candies in packets. I don't know what they're called, to be honest with you. I've had them a while ago. I don't even think it was that while ago. It was my sister had gone to one of my, I think, niece's or nephew's wedding, and they were given out there. A bit of an unusual thing from my view, but you know, it's something different. Right, I'm going to go ahead and get the other 5 of these done and get those cut out for you. Alright, so while those are drying, we will start making these. So you have 5 of this one to make, 2 of this one, and 4 of this one. And what you're basically going to do is put a bead in the middle and put them in half to seal it. So I think these ones are crisps. That's what I'm going with. So for the smaller ones, so this one here and this one over here, you're using the little red beads, and for the bigger ones, the crisps, you're using these ones over here. So I'm going to get and do those. I think it's going to take a moment and get those done. And I'm just going to use, I think B7000 for precision. So I'm just going to turn them all up. I'm not going to fold them first because I kind of want it in the middle of each section. It's going to be a task, but we will get it done. And these ones are probably almost dry. These ones, well, that one doesn't have, oh, that's because I put it there. So you have 6 of these going. So I'm just going to get those out of the way, and then those will go in that green box we made. The Sprite box. I'm not advertising them. Just got to make sure it's up the right way still. And then I'll just get them measured to fit in there. Oh, that's our 6 up there. Alright, so let's get and do that. Okay, all I've done to get started is basically put a little bit of glue and pop them in the middle of one side, then fold them, put more glue on, fold them over and crimp each side with the tweezers basically. So something like, it is rather stringy because I'm using B7000, so just putting a little bit on, not too much, and then taking them, which are going to want to join everything else probably. And fold them in half. And then crimp basically the edges, just seal them together like so. And hopefully you will end up with, this one's an escapee. Go back in. Huh. Anyway, just like that. Takes a little bit of moment. The other ones were a bit easier. The ones I started with, the black ones, these were a bit smaller, so it's a bit more tricky. I will get them done. Okay, so those are done. Best glue in the end I found to do it with, by the way, was these are separated. Was tacky glue, to be honest with you. It was easier to manipulate, didn't go anywhere near as much mess. Right, next we are going to make some candies. Little stripy one here, and we need 3 slices. It doesn't say how big, so I'm thinking something maybe like that. Maybe that's too big, I don't know. I also put the other red things on the sticks in the bucket box. It wasn't as neat as theirs. They have 3 rows of 2 and it looks very neat in things like that. Mine doesn't look anywhere near as neat, but it is dry and you will see it in a bit when hopefully we get this cabinet finished and we put it all together. So now what we want to do is we want to put a stick, oh, it's not a very good shape, is it? A stick on the back of them, which is basically the wire, the silver wire again, and wait for that to dry, and then those will go into here. So let's get that done. So the wire length for this is 0.6, so just over half a centimetre. Sure, I've got bits of wire all over the show, you know. And I think I'm just going to use tacky again. I think B7000 has its places, but it isn't necessarily on everything. And some of these, oh, didn't even cut it. And some of these little bits, well, I did, but it's not very good cut, is it? Like that one's a bit bent. Oh, I've got lots of them now. I've got 4. Oh no, I got 3. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of tacky on the back of each of these and just stick in the just wear them for a moment. Oh, I dropped it on my board. That's what we need. Glue on the board where I don't have the paper. Right, gave my tweezers a bit of a clean. Doesn't mean too much. And then just put them for drying. And when those packets are dry, then we can... I will alter all these in a second. Just put them in a slightly better position. But at the moment, let's just get them on. I think this one hasn't got any glue left. Well, that's the box anyway. It's the pot that these are all going to go into. Don't think there's any glue left on either one of those. Right, let me get that done. Just making a mess. I think I'm wearing most of it. Get rid of that. Okay. Right, what I ended up doing was just putting a tiny bit of tacky glue on the corner of my board and just dipping in the wire and then into these. These are obviously still wet, so going to leave those, but when they're dry they're going to go in this little pot here, all three of them. So all of this now can go to one side. This is my little pot there. It needs trimming and everything, but it's okay. I mean, it's not like theirs, but it's okay. So all of those will go into pot for later. I'm just going to pop them to one side of this sheet and we will move on to the next step. So most of these are dry and ready to go. These are the only ones which are really, really wet. So next we are going to make some jars of goodies. So we need some of these rope things and we're going to be cutting them. And then we're going to need some tubes. Oh, can't see anything of what I'm doing really. I need some tubes as well. Let me just try and get these out the way a bit. There we go. Sorry, just moving those candies out the way. Okay, so we'll need the tube and we're going to need some silver discs, but we'll go into that in a moment. So at the moment we are cutting these into small pieces. I think it's going to be easier to make the discs first and then we can just pop these into the tops of them. So what we need to do is cut our tube as to 0.5 for 3 pieces and 0.8 for 2 pieces. So let's get and do that. Can't remember how I found this easiest to do before. 0.5 for 3. Okay, obviously it wasn't that. I think it might be scissors. I will get them done. Okay, yeah, scissors is the easiest, and then each one goes on top of a disc like so. So I will use my B7000 for that. Then what we do is we pop in, we cut those flowers that we had at the beginning and we just put those in the top so they look like little jars of things, I guess. I'll get this done. So these are the 2 bigger ones. So just try, well, you should be able to tell which ones are the bigger ones, right? Doink. This really, really wants to stick to me, this stuff. It's almost, I mean, it's good glue, it's just almost too sticky. And it's very difficult to get off too. Right, last one. And then I think it'd be easier to, when we cut the pieces, is just put them straight into their little pots, rather than having them around, because I'm not sure that we're going to need both sides of those flowers, or just one really, until we start doing it. So these are the 2 big ones. This one's not quite on, so I'm going to let those dry, and then we will be back to put those flowers in. And we're getting almost that this cabinet is finished, and that might be what we get done today. Okay, the 3 little ones are going to be used in the next cabinet we do, but the bigger ones we are going to use for the small one. So what you do is you cut these off and you put them inside the little pots, and we want a red when I get them in there, and an orange in missed two. Basically a red and an orange in the bigger ones. An escapee, guys, an escapee. And then I would suggest just popping some glue on top. So I've got a piece of red. So I'm not going to end up using both sides of this, so I'm going to have one over. Let's just trim that up a bit. And put that in like that, and then I'll pop some glue on top. Probably just use B7000 on this one. It's good, you know, like me saying about doing it this way and then just popping them in. And every one of them's like, no, don't put us in a jar. Let me fall over instead. If only these models could talk, I'm sure. Like made of powdery stuff. And again, I think it's only going to take one end to do this. We do need another orange one, so I'm just going to use the other end for the next one, which are the small ones. Okay, go back in. And then I'm just going to top it up with some glue. I'm just going to use B7000. Dries nice and clear for this type of thing. And put them in. Gosh. Oops. I really want to escape. Okay, let me fiddle with that because it's messy and fiddly and they're very powdery, and get some glue in them, and then I'll do the other ones and I'll show you what we did. Alright, this is what we end up with. So the only one that I needed to use both ends for of the plant, these things, was the pink, because they were smaller. So I put a little bit of glue at the bottom, put some in, put some glue on the top, so they're still quite wet. So you got a pink small one, a green small one, an orange small one, and then an orange big one and a red big one. These two we will be needing for this cupboard. The other ones can go to one side. They're wet anyway, so right, let's bring these back in. And all we have to do is put all 3 of these in, when I can get hold of them, in the container here, which the hole's not open all the way through at the bottom. So let me sort that with the old tweezers here. So I think I'm going to try and put them in and then worry about gluing them afterwards. And I'll probably just use B7000 on that. So you want them kind of facing, according to the picture, all the same way. Not that way there. Like so, really. Really wants to go the other way. Well, maybe we'll have them all the other way then, and then we'll deal with it once it's glued in. Next we can get on with actually making the cabinet. Anyway, you get the principle. Get these 3 in. Very small pieces. This piece of metal's already come off of that one. Right, let me get them in and I will show you. Okay, those are all done. So I hope they get royalties for advertising all this sort of stuff. Anyway, you will also need this bead that's going to go on top of the box, and you will need 4 little discs. There are different can't even see this. There are different sizes, so make sure that you pick the right ones from the kit. These need stacking, so I'm going to get and stack those, and then we can get everything on. Okay, and those are done. You don't want them stacked perfectly, otherwise you won't be able to tell what they are. to be honest with you. Hold on, I've lost my book. Hold on. All right. So first things first, on the bottom shelf on the left is going to go those little plates we just did. I'm assuming that's what they are. Next to it will go our orange lollipops. Then we are going to have our 3 tins, I guess they are. Our 2 pots of candy up here. And the box with the bead on top. Then we're going to put some crisp packets, and all the other packets that we made you're not going to need. The same as we won't be needing this one until next time either. So let's see. So first of all, let's get these little plates in like so, and this one next to it. Going to be too big, aren't they? Even I can see they're going to be too big. Let's see if I can squeeze it down. Okay, squeeze them down. I'm going to have to cut the bottom off of those to get them in. Let's do that. We're going that way, but that's not quite how we want them to go. Okay, got those in. Let's take those plates back out and put them in again. Maybe they fell out the back. Okay, so something like that. Not overly happy with the plates, but I think it will look okay when it all dries. Then we are doing our 3 tins, and we want the yellow one in the middle. This one first. Like I say, I hope they get royalties from advertising these companies. My oranges fell out the back. I'll sort that in a second. And then the yellow one. The soup, although I don't know that that advertises a company per se. And then this one. So let me get those lined up. Is that one upside down? Yes. Okay. It's all very sticky at the moment here. Going every way that I want it to. Don't want it to. Let me get that sorted. Alright, and then we are going to have the red candy up here, which hopefully will fit. I can squeeze it in. There we go. And then the orange next to it. Okay, that worked. So when I pick it up and everything else falls down. Then our little box that I made off of camera, somewhere in the middle, and followed by our little bead, which is going to go on the top here, inside, and then the crisps are going to go down the side here. I think they're crisps. Crisps, potato chips, depending where you're from. I think that's what those ones are. And this goes in here. It will go in, just, and then these little ones, I'm guessing that's the way up. So they are stacking on the side. That be that. Let me just get a cotton bud to get rid of some of the glue excess. Oh, I just messed up my crisp display. Gosh darn it. Oh, and again. Anyway, like anything else, with this, they're so smart. This one actually is on a bit more display than a lot of the stuff we've been doing, so that's kind of okay. So you do see some of this. Right, and that's what we end up with. Damn orange one. Definitely not on the perfect side here. Okay, might be how it has to be. Okay, what do you think? Oh, you couldn't see. And that's how it roughly looks. So that is our first cabinet for the grocery store. There's 2 of these to do. The next one's the glass one. I think what I'm going to do for the channel is take a break from this model for one day and do step, I think it's 5, might be 6, of the Snoopy build for a day, and then come back to this and do the glass one. I mean, they take quite a bit of detail, plus if you're making this along you might need a bit more time than what I'm doing, because even when I was doing them myself it would take me a lot longer to do than what I'm currently doing, picking at this. So that's what we ended up with. So not too bad, not too shabby. It actually looks alright. It was a lot of work for such a small thing, huh? But we have it done, and we got a few spares over. We got the rest of those packets over, although I have lost one. It's probably in the dog bed. Might even be in my coffee cup. I knew it went flying. We also have 3 boxes that we haven't used. We have 3 of the other jars, the smaller ones, that we have to use as well. So those are all done. So that's going to save us going forward. I don't know when those are used, but I'm guessing they will. I know the boxes are used pretty much at the end of this grocery store. They're kind of in the front there, but I don't know when anything else is. Alrighty, so thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying the build. We'll have a break tomorrow and have a little bit of Snoopy, and then we will come back for day 6, do the glass cabinet. Do take care of yourselves. Please do remember to like and subscribe, but like I've always said, you know, the most important thing is taking care of you, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much for following me along and subscribing to the channel. It's very much appreciated. You take care, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.